miscarriage. Some people have. Don't let it be too late before you see God's face. I don't want you to learn in a hard way.
God is not an author of confusion. Baba does not confuse his children. He does not at all. Okay.
Sometimes when you ask, when you say, oh, I need to forgive this person, you didn't necessarily get an apology. You didn't necessarily get an acknowledgement that this person is saying, oh, I'm sorry for this thing that I did to you. So it's like you have to address that. You have to address what it is that is actually upsetting you.
Welcome. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever part of the world you're watching us from, and welcome to Habis Chat, the couple series, and we're here with the wonderful family, and I would like them to introduce themselves. But before we do that, can you introduce yourself as well?
Hi everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good day. I'm Yanadua. You saw me last week, so it's nice to see you again. So we're just here for another series, and we'll just pass it back to you.
Okay, so we're here with a wonderful couple. Please, I'll hand it over to them to introduce themselves. There we take it from.
Oh, hi, I'm Ikenna Obonna.
I'm Linda Obonna.
Thank you. So we're here with the Obonnas.
Yay! Applause!
So, just like
Love me. Do we have to say that? We know, right?
Alright.
And then the issues of, the everyday things that have to be done sometimes supersedes that. So it's little actions and little words that you say that kind of buttress. It sounded beautiful, him saying all of that.
Oh, okay.
He won't wake up in the morning and start saying, you are very, all this life you are involved in.
But I tried now.
Of course him saying, sweetie, I love you. Like we end the phone call with love you.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah.
It just becomes so routine, like love you. But when you say it in a podcast with a ring light, and you say it just sounds different. But of course, and one beautiful thing that when you say is it difficult? Just to answer your question, I feel it's just presumed knowledge. It's just there. Okay, we're married. What next? Like we're going to the next. Okay, life is ahead of us. We're doing things.
Yeah.
Except if you make a conscious effort, just like what we're doing here, like a conscious effort to say it, mean it, show it that way.
Yeah.
Do an act that actually portrays it that way. Then it now dawns on you, because he said giving and receiving. Then it now dawns on the other person. Okay, like take a pause back, like take a step back from life and say, okay, I appreciate you today. Not on Valentine's Day, some other day.
Thank you.
So don't ever box somebody into one thing. It's a fluid thing, and that communication about when you appreciate something, you should always do that. That's my take on it. Don't box somebody into his affirmation. You want to kill me with service. So, at some point it becomes boring, that service. Like if somebody's always doing something for you, doing something. Even for us women, we can just presume that he will keep doing it. It then even becomes his job.
So he just keeps going.
So it's done. Yeah.
Marriage is communication.
Wow.
Those are the three most important physical things, because God it's on top of everything. But those are the three most important things in a marriage: communication. What both of us always tell each other is leave that line of communication open.
Wow.
Every other thing
Wow.
you can take out, but you see that line of communication, leave it open.
That intentionality on both sides is very important, so that you keep the other person comfortable.
Yes.
Both ways.
I think you're spanning to our notes. Even, we're going into long distance next, and you'll be talking about that. But one thing I just wanted to also ask is, assumption, communication, assumption both on the side of the two parties. How can we, or how, I'm trying to frame it, how can we address that? Sometimes you might be assuming this is it, and your partner is assuming that is it, and that, if it's not well managed, assumption can even lead to conflicts too.
It's a wonder.
Yeah, so I will. I'm trying to. We use really bad words. I'm trying to put it in a godly way. We used to say, assumption is the mother of all. I'm trying to use good word of all. Is mess up a good word for all language? Yeah. So assumption is the mother of all mess up.
Wow.
So this is something I learned in my workplace in my early years. So do not assume. Even in our daily life, in your workplace, in marriage, do not assume, because you might be thinking this person is feeling this way or this person. So that's why I say it all boils back to communication. Because if yesterday, using the example she just cited, my mind was, this one, she's just staying outside. We're driving back in the night, the kids were in the car, I mean, I was just, why are you staying? What's wrong? If I had just kept quiet and just, okay, maybe something is wrong. We come back home, I will just go to bed. She will just wake up this morning, we'll both be moody. Then you'll begin to find out that you're building skyscraper without a foundation,
Wow.
So you just, everybody keeps carrying face. Nothing has happened.
Nothing.
But me, I'm now carrying face because you carried face for me yesterday.
Just carry face.
So you see how things. So it's always good not to ask the question, because it's in asking the question that you will know what is really happening. And I'm still trying to practice my open-ended questions in marriage. So always try to ask open-ended questions to give the person an opportunity to. In fact, I didn't even know yesterday that she started singing because I was asking. Because we all ended up just trying to sing and just.
And then the car became happy.
So
the case was resolved. No need for further conversation.
Yeah. So it's good to don't assume.
Don't assume. I'm even surprised that he's saying he's still finding it difficult to ask open-ended questions. He asks all the questions. And I think initially I found it uncomfortable, but it became the way to actually overcome those assumptions. Especially, I don't know, by virtue of women, we are kind of those ones to jump into conclusions. That with our head first. So sometimes when he is asking those questions, it's prompting a response. It's prompting you to have a deeper reflection on those type of things. And sometimes it might seem like pestering or why a lot of this, but it kind of makes you consciously ask those kind of questions. And so if you build that mindset, it helps you, especially when you have arguments or things like that. If you just sit back and reflect and pause. You say that thing about 5 minutes. These days, I'm so, except if it's in the heated, but sometimes you need to make it like an exercise of pausing and trying to reflect why this person is behaving this, or why this person is reacting like this, and then choosing another suitable environment to actually have that communication, have that conversation about that subject matter is very important. The society where we live, it's so impressionable. People create an impression about you, and it reflects even in your family, So it's very important, especially in marriage, when the two of you, at the end of the day, the two of you will still lie next to each other. So address those things. Whatever, no matter how stupid it sounds, no matter how, I mean, you didn't look at me, you did not hold my hand outside. Is there somebody? Is there, you know, the type of funny thoughts that just, you know, the devil always tries to plant some thoughts in your mind.
Yes.
I mean, I remember a time when I was in the office back in Nigeria, somebody was like, husband is even away more than the amount of time that you are here. Like, he's away more than, you know. So then you sure he can even be maintaining family in another place. I'm like, seriously? You know, but those are the things that create impressions. When you start calculating, it's true. Out of 365,
He starts thinking,
it's 200. If is actually, you know, so those type of things. Those, if you didn't have a good line of communication with the person that your spouse, it can actually fester those kind of thoughts in you. So you cannot emphasize communication. It's very important. By your nature, you might feel, I got it, there's no need. Don't get it, talk about it. Talk about it.
Ask, even the difficult ones, right? As solely as people can be. Sometimes you ask, are you having a relationship outside? I've had that question asked to me. So, you know, ask the difficult ones. Talk about it, and you know, it goes a long way. Like sometimes there's some things I can't even think because of the question I'll get asked. You know, so for me, communication is very important.
And a sincere response too.
Thank you. Sincere
You know, because you could ask and then you get a lie back, right? So just
but you can only lie for so long.
Yeah.
And just before we go into long distance, she will lead us into that. But what if you're asking and the person doesn't want to respond? Because from experience.
Find another time. Like put on the candle.
Okay.
But that's why open-ended questions are good. You know, I've gone through a couple of trainings, courtesy where I work on how to ask open-ended questions. I mean, it's a way to resolve conflicts.
What are open-ended questions?
That's a question. Examples. Because I was like, what are open-ended questions?
Now you want me to think, how will I think?
Just for example.
So there are questions that you don't expect the person to give you a direct answer. How do I say?
Like leading questions.
Yes, leading.
How are you?
How are you is a common one. Right? How far?
I hate how far. Like that's his first thing.
That's my first
How you call it how far? Like how far what? You know
exactly.
what's how far? You know, so it leads to the next day.
So I'm trying to pick out a very good example.
So it's like questions.
Okay, like typical example. That's him yesterday. A better question I would have asked. I was asking her, are you angry? Or so those are closed-end questions. It's a yes or no. So an open-ended question would have been, what's going through your mind?
Okay.
So it's open-ended. It's now for her to tell me whatever is going through her mind.
Okay.
So from there you can keep prompting, you know, okay, what do you think about this? You know, so if for instance, when you were setting up, right, if I wanted to come and say, Biodu, no, the camera is this way, put microphone this way, I think you should do this, or instead of doing all that is, what do you think? How do you think we can set up? You know, you begin to tell me, even if I know how we should set up, but I'm giving you the opportunity to give me what you feel and how. So you just keep prompting those kind of questions, and somewhere in between you get to hear the according to one of my favorite pastors, Pastor Adam, if you ever get to watch him, he would say you get to the meat and potato of the issue. He's one of my pastors in US.
Thank you. So open-ended questions. So find the other time to ask, or create scenarios where they can ask.
I could recite. It's just I can't get. But open-ended questions, you use them everywhere. You will get the person to talk.
One in it leads to more questions.
Okay.
So leading questions that leads
Watch
to
out.
more questions. Okay, that's good.
So long distance.
I know because that you guys have been in long distance relationship. Not even the relationship, long distance marriage. So, and at that, and I know you had kids also, and every other thing. So, how was your experience with long distance marriage? How was your experience? I want Madam to talk.
She's the one that will talk. I'm not even going to talk.
Because you are the one that experienced the long distance.
But that's unfair.
And you're also the one with the kids.
No, they have their own experience.
You also say
I know you
No,
stuff.
you say
I just want to start with you. I feel like you have more experience than him.
Well, I think
Give it in a brief version, not over 10 years version.
I think we both have, our own versions to give. As a woman, I think my first impression came from day one. Just by the nature of the job. Immediately after marriage, we went on. I think it was a 3 months training. Like we're still honeymoon just came down from honeymoon, and we had to go. So I think for me, it kind of made me very how will I put it? Like everything is on me. I need to be strong for myself and for the children, right? I kind of position myself as this is me and everything has to be done, right? That has its impact on the marriage dynamics because at some point when he does come back, it kind of seems like, whose role is what? I've been mommy and daddy since. So when he does come back, it's like, okay. But aside that, for the woman, as regards the children, it became very important that I had to be there for them. On the relationship side, beautifully, he's one to always want that line of communication very open. And I think it went a long way in sustaining our relationship. It was frustrating at a point, I would be sincere, because, in a day, you could call it like 6 times. And we also had time difference, So sometimes he wants to call at midnight. Sometimes he's calling at, very odd hours when you're tired and, things like that. But you need to also have that those conversations, keep abreast. I found it difficult having to recite my life. Like a day passed and then he's calling and like, what happened today? And then you have to talk the whole day. And then he criticizes the whole day. Or he asks questions about the whole day. So it's kind of, those kind of things cause friction. And it's very important because at some point we kind of told ourselves, how long are we going to continue doing this? Because smoke is coming out from my head at this point. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's something you should encourage for a very long time. Because it takes a lot of effort from both parties. So for myself, it took the effort of me taking care of the home, me taking care of the children. Of course, financially he's there, supporting and all of that, but there's a lot. There's emotional, there's the physical toll on yourself. And then of course, then there's the communication, which is you also have to and that person is also asking questions. He's also saying what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And you're like, what exactly? Why don't you come and do it yourself? Those kind of things. So I think it's very important. If it does come, just know that it's an extra effort. You have to make an extra effort to keeping that marriage alive, right? And I don't think it's healthy to keep it for a very long time. I don't think it's healthy. The beauty for him then was the nature of it. He used to come and go. Sometimes there were extended periods, which we also struggled through. But I sure that when I hear some people saying I like it that way, let him go, then now come back as a visitor. Some people
now you're going for like 2 days or 3 days or 1 week vacation or work stuff. Bye. Yes. Not like you're going for like 6 months, half of the year.
But you never know, anything can happen.
Well, or you have couples who spend years apart. You have couples who spend years apart. Husband is in diaspora, I'm in my local country, and you guys are comfortable living like that. I question those kind of relationships because it's a deep. And it's not I say I'll question. I'll just say it takes additional effort, conscious effort,
Yeah.
daily,
Yeah.
and it takes a toll, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
It takes a toll.
Yeah.
There's something that comes with the physical, aspect. There's, of course, we might not watch it all the time, but it's there.
Yeah.
Communication cannot really cover up all of that.
Yeah.
So, and especially, and also when you bring in the children, there's a role for a man, there's a role for a woman. And sometimes I'm so happy when he's around and he's helping with even speaking with the kids. And sometimes they're like, Paul, so that's not how we used to do it. So So it's very important. And I would say, just to summarize that, long distance takes additional effort, and I think as a couple you should have a plan for, if it's an extended period of time, you should also cautiously have a plan of when the two of you would actually be together, because that's the family. Like, let's not make the hustle, let's not make all of that come in between that. I understand 2 weeks, 2 days go come, that's holiday. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, and you're married.
That's a long time.
There are a lot of things that will come into question.
We were apart for about 8 months.
That was the toughest.
Yeah.
And you came in COVID.
Just after COVID.
Just after COVID.
Wow.
After COVID. So he had done like an 8 months period of of being away, and then came back. There are people, I know that's a short period, and even let's not even look at just those extended period. There were times where the nature of his job was, might be coming back from church and somebody would just call, oh boy, you will go this evening, or we are going this evening. That's it. He will come home, he will pack his bag, and he's gone. Right? So even when he's around, you're not even sure if he's really around. So. So things like that, they have their toll. And just like that initial example I gave, so many times probably in a year, you find out that he's been away longer than, like if you add the periods away, it's longer than this. And it's even for the children too, they kind of technically see that, okay, the other party is like a visitor, then this is the main person, right? You don't want to have that in their life. So just to summarize it, I know life will cause such things to happen, but understand that it takes additional effort on both parties to keep the marriage alive. If you can, make a plan towards how the two of you can be together. That's what marriage is. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So from my side,
What do you
I don't know, for the men, I don't know, if you want me to be sincere, it could be easier, because men, we are just men, sometimes when you are feeling lonely, just call 1 or 2 guys, you are out, maybe watching game or playing soccer, and before you know, the day is over, but I wouldn't, for the records, I wouldn't recommend it if it's avoidable, because a lot of things pass by. So some men don't care. I missed the birth of my kids, which I really wanted to. As a young person, I've always said I want to be in the hospital, but like she said, you have to move for a project. You have to move, and they missed a lot of family events, missed the kids, special thing, whether if their first day of working, or their birthdays, or landmark stuff, and marriage is a lot of things for me. You got married not just for kids. The major thing about marriage is companionship, right? The Bible says the man will leave his family and cling. So it's not, the reproduction is a blessing, and every other thing that God has promised us and given us as gift in marriage. But so if I'm going to tell her that I'm going to be there when she wants to gossip, in quote, because marriage is also have gossip. So we're going to gossip. Did you see Biodu? I like his glasses. Iyanu is looking finer now since she got married. All those marriage gossip are going to come in. And if that's what we want to do, right? We want to just talk, and how can we have those conversations when we're apart for a very long time? Like she said, it becomes difficult. Like I want to know how her day was. Oh, you went to work today. Who said what in the office? And these are natural gists that if you were both together, these are gists that if you are both together, she will come back from open the garage, like imagine what they said in the office. All this, and, but you can't have those kind of conversations. And whether you like it or not, this is my opinion. When you spend more time with your colleagues than your wife, you become closer to your colleagues than your wife, because they will be the one to see you in your happy moments, in your down moments, in your in-between moments, and you don't have those expressions with your wife. Then you come back with your wife and someone is telling you something, I think your wife likes pineapple juice mixed with orange. Yeah. And you are looking. Because that's where they've gone for an office gathering where she had told somebody, but I've never had the opportunity to go into those kind of gatherings with her. So I don't expect to know that aspect of her. I might ask her, what do you like? I think I like orange juice. But I never knew that she likes mixing it with pineapple, because she has gone somewhere with some other people where she has mixed it and she has found out that, this is what I like. So when you are apart, there are lots of things you just miss out. I get it, like she said, we have to get money and stuff like that. I mean, that sometimes this woman, she has tried. I used to call her generator mechanic. then in Nigeria, she had to learn. Now we call her. Because I'm not around. The generator will trip off by 10 p.m. Will I start calling someone to go to my house by 10 p.m. to fix the generator or get the generator on? Then you want call. Okay, no wala. Oh, get touch light. This is where the plug is. This is where I kept my tools. Turn it clockwise.
Those conversations are not very rosy.
Yeah.
Can you not? Did you see?
So you see those kind of things. To her, she's getting pissed, and like she said, it's not always a happy conversation. But it's something that needs to be done because they need light in the house. So it's you get to do it, and you are the man. Let me not say the man. You are on the other side thinking, I need my family to be okay. So you are cracking your head how to get her to do those things, right? I also crack your head, who can I call? Who can sacrifice going to my house by this time? So it's a lot of. In fact, she used to say, when I was not around, my gray hair grew a lot faster, and ever since I came back, it has reduced. So
because his mind is thinking about.
So for me, I really do not recommend it. And where it hurts the most is for me when you are trying to, which happened maybe a couple of times, you're trying to tell her, don't worry, I know who I will call to in my house. You already know who to call to come and fix something. So don't exactly. But to be fair to her, she needs it fixed. You are not around, and so you go back. You're like, okay, but you're not thinking like,
don't worry, I fix it.
So it pains. You know how it is. Those are the kind of. But some marriages, like I said again, my disclaimer. Some people, it's better they are apart. They just come back, give birth to children, and go. If that's how your marriage works, good. But for me, at some point, I couldn't. Even at work, you can't just sit down and concentrate anymore. You just want to be around. But you need to strike that balance anyway, because bills are not happy.
Well, what I wanted to ask is, now I know you might have chipped some advices in for those in that situation, but if you're to advise anyone, maybe just one or two more points that are currently going through that, and because that is happening more now as people are probably migrating to other countries. Job opportunities are coming and people are finding school. School is separating couples now. Maybe the spouse will go first, then the family will join later. It's happening more now than it was 10 years ago. And because of the society, because of the way things are, the world is progressing now. And so if there's any long distance couple, or even those in relationship too, because people are meeting each other online now. They are meeting each other online now, and now it's taking longer to get to know that person. Is there any other advice you want to add to the things you've said that they should watch out for? And even though okay, let's say they try to avoid it, it's unavoidable. What are some things you would tell them to put at the back of their mind so that their marriage or relationship can work?
So what I would say is, like you said, there are different phases of life, right? I'll just say have a plan, because I can't tell a couple that maybe the wife needs a doctorate degree, for instance, to move up in her career, and the man is supporting her to do that. I'll now say, oh no, because of marriage, stay back. Kill that dream of having your doctorate degree. I'm just using this as an example. I mean, so for me, it's have a plan. Okay, you are going to go for your doctorate degree. It's going to take another 4 years. We might not be apart. How do we intend to meet? Are we going to be meeting once a year? Are you going to come back home? Should we start making provisions for that money? How the kids, how are we going to take care of the kids? Are you going to come with the kids? Just have a plan, because life has different. I can't tell you where I said I don't recommend long distance is the way we say in physics, if K is constant. So that's why I say, if you guys, you don't really need this distance relationship, so why embark on it? But if it's a need and it's extremely necessary, I think we should have a plan. That's what I would say. We should have a plan.
I think to add to that, I would just say, we've talked about communication, having the plan, of course, patience on both ends. Because of that extra work is in there. One very important thing is trust and integrity, right? On both sides. Because somebody is away, one tends to think the devil might just plant some form of things into you. So on both sides, both of you have to be very responsible and focused on your marriage, whether this person is here or this person is not there. If the two of you trust each other and you keep that line of communication, you'll be fine. As you've spellbound, as you guys have said it, okay, my family, we are planning about it, that's okay. So if I say, if because of circumstances I'm going for a master's, we're going to be away for 2 years, it's 2 years, right? Yeah. You look yourselves in the eye and say, 2 years, Abi, we're going to live responsibly, we're going to do things like that. Or if you don't live up well there, okay, I'm here. Yeah. Marriage, If you leave that room and the two of you are not cautiously, don't have that integrity, bound on, faith, the Bible, in your marriage, it gives room for so many branches. Even if the other party is not doing something, you could be living a life of bitterness, presuming that this other party is doing something. So the two of you responsible and the two of you trust each other. That way you can at least, it's not the best of situations, but you can withstand it. You can go through those times, and overcome it. I think that is
Wow. So probably we just discuss finally now. Discuss handling finance in marriage.
Just one.
Finance in marriage has been one of the things that have led to a lot of couples splitting. Finance in marriage has different parts. So that's why one question is it's gonna be a lot, because there's different parts. But if it's just the question now is, how have you handled finance in your marriage? It might not go in details, but just I like it, and there's this notion of is money and money. Is that?
I said that.
Is that true?
I said that in the last marriage. Marriage. And the punches and blows. I got, but it's interesting. And like I said, I will allow her answer, then I will just conclude.
Wow, you're throwing that down.
That's what it takes to be an accountant.
Okay. Finance. Well, disclaimer. What works for me, but don't work for everyone. I would say finance is something, just like you pointed out, it's what in this generation is causing a lot of, breakups, because, that's why you hear things about prenups. Let's sign in case we break up, So it's all that in case that makes finance an issue. Whether you like it or not. When a woman says, I'm keeping my money, it's in case you mess it up. Right?
Okay. Well,
it's in case. Well, let's not think of it just in the negative. Look, let's say in case he spends his money and he doesn't have everything. He doesn't have anything. I'm there to support him. It's in case I want to do some things for my family and he doesn't know. So in all these scenarios of in case, where's the love? Where's the marriage? Where's the communication?
Where's the trust?
Where's the trust? In all the scenarios that I have given, where's that? And those things are what forms a marriage. So if you want to use my family as an example, I would say when it comes to finances, we don't do the joint account, right? But we do open line of communication, right?
We don't do the joint account.
Some people might ask, some people might ask why.
Well, we have
For savings.
Yeah. So of course you have those type of different pockets. Okay, he does savings. I do running home maintenance. He does this family.
Yeah.
So, but that all of that is intertwined into the open line of communication between yourselves. Because sometimes people will say, why don't you have joint accounts? If you guys trust yourself, why don't you have joint accounts? You might have two people whose nature is entirely different, right? If you do have a joint account and so that means you need to communicate over, we need to buy tomato. You will communicate, right? You need to buy onions. You communicate, right? So you can have different accounts for different things. You can have, this one is house maintenance, this you handle this, and I handle this. This is savings. The two of us, have access to this. This is savings, right? And you guys are planning together. So when finance is made a very big issue, it makes it feel like there's a problem with the business. Because those initial examples I gave, when you're doing that, it is because of something outside of the marriage. I'm not talking like a holier than thou. Even as a woman, you would have been counseled at some point in your life, hold your side. You don't know, have something, right? But when you place your mind wholly on all of that, you ask yourself, is this for your marriage or is this a selfish interest for yourself? Even in your marriage, when you make some substantial things and you don't communicate to your spouse, what are you breeding? Sometimes when I want to do those type of, that's what pulls me back. If I do this, if he does this, would I like it? If I take this substantial money and I do something and I don't tell him, you're creating avenue. She did it the last time now, so me too, I can do it. At the end of the day, what happens to your in quotes joint finances?
Wow.
You're depleting your joint finances. So if it's leaking from here and it's leaking from here, you are on your own. So when people say, we must do joint accounts, if you have the nature of somebody who is a large spend, if the two of you just by nature are very different, I'm an accountant, right? I would ask, why? What are the benefits? Plus, this asset, what's it going to generate for me in future? Right? I'll ask this kind of question. I might enter a store and go outside budget and buy little things. He will enter a store, go to the hardware side and buy one obenge that will affect the balance sheet. Right? So if you guys have those kind of natures, just that open line of communication as to, this is the range I'm spending. This is the range I'm spending. We've been talking about this over, but we kind of have a basic understanding. What are the financials of the year? What's coming in? What's going out? How do we spend this year? What are the plans for this year? He often has huge goals. This my husband can say, I want $1 million 2020.
I like you.
That's his
I
goal.
like your goal.
Before the goal even dries, you need to buy Tacoma. I don't understand. How do we buy this and have this goal? So you often have those clashes when it comes to finances. But that communication is very, very important. I wouldn't sell joint accounts to everybody. It could work for some people. It would work. A lot of times you always hear me, I listen to Pastor Kingsley a lot, Milfred and Kingsley. I often listen to them, but sometimes I pick some of the things they say and I leave out. Like, it's just based on the nature of the two people involved. But just like we've been preaching right from the beginning, you see this communication, especially as regards finances. I'm sure that when I hear some women say, I built a house, my husband does not know. How? Or you just come now, one Prado Jeep, happy birthday. From where?
We saved the money now. We were saving
No, not that kind of money. Like, you can surprise me with perfume. Like, some things I know that your finances can sustain.
So it's so big like that.
You buy me a house? How? Except if it's mortgage and you carry that basic for the future, right? But even as like that, that's a huge investment that the two of us are supposed to communicate about. So I think that communication is very important, and what works for your family is also very key.
Yeah, she has done justice, accountant. but like finance, there are things that, and I advise couples, right? I'm not trying to sell my provost in Lagos, the very Reverend Dr. Joffe to me, but when he was counseling us, we still hold those things in place. We discussed finance, we discussed sex, because a lot of couples enter into marriage with a lot of assumptions and will sort it out. When you're about to get married, everything just looks like it's going to be fine after the marriage. Those things begin to fade, like she said. So, there are a lot of things we don't have in a hard written surface, but we also apply them. When it comes to finance for us, you need to discuss it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Discuss it right from the beginning of the marriage. If you've not done that, start discussing it. Because sometimes we don't, like she said, we don't keep joint accounts, And I respect where we come from. We're Africans. We know each family have their own dynamics and stuff like that. And there are some things that, I'll give you general, some things God will tell you want to do. God has not told that.
God has not spoken.
And sometimes it's easier that God, this one I know is you. But if to sign the thing is under her, if Abraham had told Sarah that God told me to go and sacrifice Isaac, it wouldn't have happened. Exactly. So if you want to apply, I'm just using that as an example. There are some things that God tells you want to do. I'm not putting those into perspective, but there are also some things you want to do, and you want to have that conversation with her. Like, okay, you know what? I'm being led to do this, or I want to do this. This is our financial status. It's not going to affect. This is the mitigation, or this is the plan I put in place to reduce whatever. You have that communication. Be open about it. Sometimes she just comes and like, hey guy, what's our net worth? Look at it. And sometimes how much? Tell me the last 10 kobo you have in your account. You're like, I've not spent money. Yeah, I want to know, because there are probably things that she's thinking of us doing that might require, and me, I'm thinking about, like she said, I need to hit $3 million by this year, our savings. I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, we need to cut out buying unnecessary fruits. The kids waste this. And she's like, you need to stop buying or thinking of buying, pimping up your car. So that those communications will help you guys know where you stand financially. Because finance is a big deal. We can't run away from it. It's a big deal. So you need to discuss, and for me, I think you need to be open about it. There's some school of thought, especially from where I come from, don't let your wife know how much you have. I mean, if you started your marriage that way and it works that way, there's some women that they don't even want to know how much their husband have, and some men don't even want to know how much their wife have. If it works for you that way, it's okay. I mean, it's good. Well, with all this, that's why they've started signing prenups and all those things. So I don't know. Yeah, communication, openness, I mean, we are Christians. We are in this till death put us apart, and I think that's what sets us apart because we still have the Bible as our basis for marriage. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. Then keep watching Abby's Corner to learn more.
So thank you so much, sir. We've learned so much, you know. And one thing you keep saying is like communications, leaving the line of communications open, and which is like, I hope everybody that watching will have that and will adopt that, you know, communications and everything. In long distance, you communicate. For your finances, communicate. For
When you're
conflicts,
angry,
also communicate. Everything boils down to communication. So yes, I just want to say thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for honoring us and you know for sitting down with us and sharing your wisdom.
We're still learning. I have a couple that I think they've done over 50. Sometimes I still chat them and ask them. So every opportunity I have and I see a couple that have spent time, I still ask them one or two questions. No matter where it is, I might run into them. Sometimes I might run into them like in Walmart. Like, how is this working? They always have something to say because you want to learn and you know. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much.
So much.
Thank you to
Bye.
everyone for watching. See you next time.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
Bye.
And